Welcome to the Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast once again. You guys are really clicking on these episodes, and I so appreciate it. I love the feedback that I'm getting from doing PODmas. This is really encouraging me right now. This is encouraging me to really do some different things with my podcast starting in 2022. I do have some new segments that I'm going to implement. As I said, I think a couple podcasts ago, that I will have interviews. I was going to drop a bunch of special interviews during the month of December, but I don't think that's what I want to do. So I'm going to save those interviews for probably between January and February. And I am going to do this PODmas where I'm doing a new episode every single day. And it's a one-word title for all of those episodes where I'm covering a specific subject matter and just giving some tips behind it. So today's word is teachable. Okay, so I can phrase it as a question. Are you teachable? Do you consider yourself to be teachable? Now, teachable can mean a whole lot of things, but let me tell you the perspective I'm coming from, especially in the business world. There's often a mode of how we do things. I know there's ways in how I run my business, and it may not be the way that somebody else runs their business. But I'm always willing to learn. I'm always willing to understand and decipher why people do the things that they do, even though it may be to the contrary of how I do things. Sometimes you have folks that, well, if you don't believe like me, if you don't look like me, if you're not like me, then we can't be friends. And that is so far from the truth. The way I deal with things, I've always been in a friendship group where everybody was just so different from all different types of walks of life. We had black, we had white, we had Asian, we had Indian, we had the whole gambit. That's just the way it's always been. I've always grown up in neighborhoods that were very diverse. We really didn't, and went to schools that were diverse as well. We really didn't isolate ourselves, even though, I would say more the neighborhood that I lived in from when I was about 6 to about 19, that was more of a black neighborhood, and we had some Latino as well, and you did have some white people and a sprinkling of Asians here and there, but our church was completely mixed. Everything else outside of that, even the music school that I was going to at the time, there was not 2, 3 of anything, it was just so mixed. But after we moved from my old neighborhood to where my parents bought their house, that neighborhood, same neighborhood today, is very mixed, completely mixed. Next door could be Asian, across the street Indian, up the block another black family. It was just completely mixed, which I absolutely love. Absolutely love that. It just allows you to learn from people. If folks are having something going on at their house, they will come and bring a plate of food. The same thing that my mom would do. My mom has tomatoes in her backyard, and she had so many one time that she just went around, she bagged them up, she put like 5 or 6 in a bag, and just went around to the different houses and said, hey, I have this surplus of tomatoes, here you go, and she gave it to them, and the neighbors were just like, oh my goodness, this is so wonderful, thank you so much. It's just a really great environment to to live. Everybody's just so different, and you can learn from each other. You're not around the same thing every single day. So I absolutely loved that. So yeah, it helps you to be, I feel, it helps you to be very teachable. I noticed that the friends that I do have, or I would even say more acquaintances that I have that grew up strictly in certain types of neighborhoods or certain types of thought processes, they're not very teachable. And I don't say that in a rude way. I say it in a very real way. Some people just want to be around just what they know, and anything outside of that is too scary. Anything outside of that is too left. Anything outside of that is just too much, And that's not the type of living that I want to do. I want to be around as many diverse people as possible because I love to learn. So I consider myself to be very teachable because I just love to learn. I love to learn about other people's cultures. I love traveling for that reason. I hope that other countries will be opened up and it won't be such a process to travel, because I want to be able to travel freely again, and I think that that's one thing that has helped me learn a lot through the years. Is being able to just travel to all these different places, different countries, islands. I mean, I don't even know if there's an island. Well, there's actually a few islands that I haven't been to, but I've been to quite a few so far. And even though you say, all these islands are in the Caribbean, they're all still very different in culture and very different in nature, so I just absolutely love that. Hopefully we'll be traveling to Africa soon. More on that coming soon. I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. There's so many things going on right now, and I'm just trying to get through all of it because I tell you, oh man. Anyway, there's just a lot of things that I need to talk about, but I can't quite talk about them yet. But yeah, so traveling to the continent of Africa is going to be an amazing thing. And that may be coming up soon. So, are you teachable? Okay. Now, I'm going to give you some tips about becoming more teachable. So if you feel like your mind is closed to certain things and you want to be more open, here are some of the key things that you need to do to be teachable. Number one, you have to have an open mind. You just have to. You have to keep an open mind. Negative attitudes, putting other people down and, all that sort of stuff is just not going to work for you to be teachable. You have to have a certain level of respect for your fellow human. You have to be able to exchange ideas. In order for you to be teachable, you have to be able to ingest what that person is giving to you. That doesn't mean you have to take it and use it, but understand why they are the way they are. And they should be able to understand why you are the way that you are. You understand what I'm saying? So keep an open mind. The second thing, no ego. No ego. My dad always used to say this, and I know I've said this in another podcast. My dad used to say this all the time, and we used to think it was so funny as kids. But it's so true. And he would always say, I don't care how many degrees you have. I don't care how educated you are. I don't care how well versed you are in anything. None of us have arrived. And I used to be like, what is Daddy talking about? But it's so true. None of us have arrived. You could have a PhD in something. Somebody will come and talk to you that only has a high school diploma and will still school you on something that you have no clue about. So always be willing to learn. You know what I'm saying? Don't have this ego that, oh, I got this decoration, and this accolade and that accolade, and think that you can't be taught. Everybody can be taught something new every single day. So check your ego at the door. The third thing is you have to know how to, what's the best way to say? You have to know how to solicit feedback. That is definitely a thing that I think makes for a great person to be teachable, is to ask for feedback, right? Don't just spew information out to people, that was a tongue twister. Don't just put information out, but also pull information in. Ask people, if you are over a group at work, let's say that you're the boss at work, ask for feedback. It can be anonymous. Have like a little, comment box or something, and let people put their comments in there. Because I'm sure that as a boss, and I've been in this position where I've had people that I've had to oversee at work, and constantly I would ask them questions. What do you think about this? What do you think about what we're implementing here? And I would always get really great feedback. So you can get to understand your workers. You can get to understand how people are comprehending what you have to say. Or is everybody in your office on the same page? Sometimes when your boss is talking, it's like they're speaking a different language. So you have to learn how to ask for feedback, right? And part of asking for feedback, a lot of that has to do with checking your ego. So it really goes back to number 2, to check your ego. Ask for feedback, all right? The final thing that, actually there's 2 more. The next thing is learning to be respectful. Right? Pay attention to anyone that is giving you feedback on whatever that situation is. Maybe you ask them what they thought about the speech that you gave or whatever it is. Listen to what they are saying. Don't just, and even if they have critiques that may not be particularly easy to take, let's say that. Maybe their critiques are a little critical. Listen to what that is, because honestly, if you're going to improve your business, if you're going to improve your, I'll say brand, if you're going to improve your brand, you have to learn how to be respectful. You have to learn how to respect people's feedback. So not only do you ask for feedback, you have to be respectful when they give you that feedback. And even if it's a little bit critical, maybe it kind of jabbed you in a spot that you don't particularly care for, that could be the thing that fixes your business. I always say this, when I'm talking to groups of women in business or any other entrepreneurs, I said, if you ever want to see how people really feel about a brand, go to the comment section on social media. Go to the comments on Facebook. Go to the brand's comments on Instagram, because people let loose in the comments and really tell you what they think about your brand, right? So if it could be a food brand, it could be, body scrub, whatever. Go to the comments or go to the review section, right, of the websites, the social medias of these brands, and you will see exactly what people think about that brand. And if you are a competitor of said brand, all you've got to do, real easy, listen to this, all you got to do, if you are a competitor, right, and you go to your competitors' comments and you see the pain points and the complaints, what do you think you need to do as their competitor? You need to address those pain points. You need to address their complaints. Because if you build a better mousetrap on your side, people are going to be like, wait a minute, I always used to get my stuff from XYZ company, and now I'm over here at ABC company, and they're doing it over here. The customer service is amazing over here. They're actually solving my problems. That's really how you keep business going. People have a problem and you solve it, right? So it's not just selling them arbitrary stuff. People have an issue. You solve that issue. You get a flat tire. That's why they have all of these body shops, right? Get a flat tire, roll a car in there, they fix it. That's why Jiffy Lube stays in business. You know what I'm saying? People need a website built. Hey, you call somebody like me, I can have a website built for you in about 3 or 4 days. Real easy. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that people can't fix a flat tire themselves. It's not that people can't build a website for themselves. But guess what? They may not have the time. I exist, and my business exists because people don't have time. My business exists because people don't care to even look into doing those type of things. They don't want to run their social media. They don't want to build their own website. And I don't blame them. It's very time consuming. But it's something that I love to do. It's something that I'm passionate about. One of the things I'm passionate about, especially business. And I love to see businesses thrive and build. And if I could be, a part of that happening, I'm there, right? So let's recap and go over the last point. Make sure you keep an open mind. Make sure you check your ego at the door. Solicit feedback. Okay? And be respectful when you're getting that feedback. All right? The final thing is to be thankful. We just talked about gratitude the other day. Be thankful. If somebody is helping you execute a plan, thank them. It could be giving them a $20 gift certificate or whatever to a store, a gift card, whatever it is. Be thankful, because I'll tell you something, thank you goes a long way. Even when I get my grocery deliveries, because y'all know how much I can't stand going in the stores. Even when I get my grocery deliveries, and usually the person who's delivering the groceries will be texting you to let them, to let you know that they're on their way, that they're outside your door, or, stuff like that. I always say thank you. Always. Even if I hear, because now, it's like touchless service. So they'll drop the groceries and everything at my front door. If I hear them, walking or whatever like that, like, going back to the elevator, what I will do, I'll say thank you. And they'll be like, oh, you welcome, ma'am. And it's like they're not even used to people doing that. Or if I miss them and they say, they text a note to say, the groceries are in front of your door. And I will text them back and say, thank you so much. And then another person actually wrote back and said, you're very welcome, because I know that thank you goes a long way. And we're not out in this world doing everything by ourselves. It takes time to put groceries together. It takes time to get in your car and drive through all the traffic. You know what I'm saying? And thank God, there's an elevator here, but some places are walk-ups. I remember when I used to live in an apartment, that was a walk-up, and I lived on the 3rd floor. And I used to tip those people well, because I knew that they had to, and I would even not get really heavy stuff like the gallons of water and all that stuff. I wouldn't even get all that stuff. I would grab that stuff myself because I felt bad. I didn't want them walking up all those steps with that stuff. But listen, be thankful, right? Be thankful. So that's all I have for you today. But if you want to be teachable, those are some ways that you can be more teachable by keeping an open mind. Make sure that your ego is in check. Always solicit feedback and be respectful with that feedback, and be thankful anytime somebody is helping you, because we would like to believe that we do everything ourselves in this world, but we don't. There's always help around the corner somewhere. And being teachable, it really does put you in a different space, because if you're in the 9-to-5 world, being teachable makes you amazing, and it makes you stand out, and it's going to make your job much easier, because you'll be able to absorb what your boss is telling you, or whatever higher ups that you have to report to. And trust me, when you're teachable, that's something that bosses take note of, because I know I always did. If I knew there was somebody that was always going to argue with me or have a shutdown or meltdown or whatever you want to call it, that's not people that I would call on to handle some, larger responsibility. And it also shows that you're not willing to be a team player in this situation as well. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's hard for people to do that, but it's a way that a lot of bosses can say, okay, this is a shining star, and it's a way for them to consider you for bigger, better things on the job. You know, make sure if you're a small business owner and you're bringing on interns or even assistants and all of that, they have to be able to be teachable. There has to be something where that, God forbid, you're not able to speak for yourself. They can communicate with your clients, and the client doesn't feel like it's a total upset from what they're used to. You know, that's being teachable. All right, you guys, that's all I got for today. I know this was a little bit longer, but I felt like this was an important subject matter that needed to be covered. If you want to share this podcast, I would greatly appreciate it. Share it in email, take the link, post it on your social media, click like on the episode so I know which episodes you really are, getting something out of, because maybe I'll do more of those type of episodes. But if you want to talk to me on social media, Instagram is where I'm the most active. My Instagram is @OnyxQueenMedia. And if you want to email me, let's do the other one. info@OnyxQueenMedia. That's info@OnyxQueenMedia. I'll talk to you tomorrow, you guys. Bye. Online savings simplified. Don't search for coupon codes ever again. With one click, Honey's smart shopping assistant will automatically apply discounts to your cart in seconds. Save on all your favorite things. Easily pay less for products you're already buying online. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Join Honey for free. It takes 2 clicks to add Honey to your Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Opera browser. Find savings in seconds. While you shop, Honey will find working promo codes across the entire internet, and you save instantly. With one click, Honey will apply the best deals to your cart. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Get Honey. Download it today. Visit our link, www.tinyurl.com/ONYXHONEY. That's www.tinyurl.com/OnyxHoney. Start saving right now.